What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I got some new news concerning Dominic Brazil. The heavyweight division has been very, very interesting. It's been, it's had some buzz. Dominic Brazil, he has that one loss to Anthony Joshua, and he did an interview, and he was talking about his position and the eliminator, and he's the mandatory to fight Wilder, he's just really waiting in the pocket, and he just discussed Dillian Whyte, and he said Dillian Whyte didn't want the fight. He said that Dillian Whyte went for the WBC silver when he fought Lucas Brown, and he defended that particular position with Joseph Parker, which he really didn't have to fight Joseph Parker. He just chose to, which was a good fight. And that was a very good fight, actually. But, with the Dominic Brazil, he said that Dillian Whyte had the choice to fight him or not to get his position where he was at, and he was willing to fight him, and he said he didn't want to fight. And now these are Dominic Brazil's words. He also went on to say about Deontay Wilder is that, he can't forgive Deontay for the attacks that he had on his family. It was an altercation where Dominic Brazil, I forget what fight it was on. They were coming in, it was in the lounge, and Wilder's brother and entourage, attacked and verbally attacked him and his family while they were out together. And I thought that was kind of foul. Now, I'm not really sure if Deontay Wilder initially started it. I believe my understanding is it was his brother that started this altercation, and, of course, Deontay Wilder is going to, back up his brother when when this altercation, everything went down, when everything came to a head. So, for that reason, Dominic Brazil really, really wants a piece of Deontay Wilder, and he said he's ready for him. I can't wait to get a piece of him, He went on a rant a couple months ago saying on how much he wanted the fight. So I can understand him staying tight where he is. That's why he's hoping that Wilder beats Fury, because, Wilder will retain that belt, and he's the mandatory to fight Wilder. He's that first eliminator, person, in line to fight Wilder if the Anthony Joshua fight don't go through. And that's if a rematch clause hasn't been applied to their negotiational contract with Fury. So, he could be waiting a long time for that fight. And he could not be, because if he just knocks out Fury and Fury doesn't want any more of that hammer, that Alabama hammer, right, then he might get that opportunity sometime next year, right? So, but there's a lot of ifs that's involved with that. But Dominic Brazil, I don't think you should really sleep on Dominic Brazil, because, let's just say, theoretically, let's just say the Joshua and Wilder fight does happen. If it actually happens, right? April 13th, and Deontay is able to connect with that right hand, right? That fiber optic Hulk Alabama hammer, right? And he upsets, he knocks out AJ. And I don't really know the odds, but he beats AJ, right? If he beats AJ, then Dominic Brazil comes around, then what'll happen, everybody will say, you know what, Anthony Joshua already beat Dominic Brazil, and Deontay Wilder's beat Anthony Joshua, so there's no way in Hades that this guy, Dominic Brazil, can win. So the odds will be against him. They end up fighting somewhere in Vegas, and then guess what happens? Dominic Brazil upsets him. And then everybody will be astounded. But not really, because I don't believe in triangle theories, because that's a triangle theory. Believing that just because Anthony Joshua was beaten by Deontay Wilder and Joshua beat Dominic Brazil already doesn't mean Deontay Wilder will beat Brazil. You know what I'm saying? So, and Brazil is a good fighter. He upset another young top prospect, Undona, I think his name was called. I don't want to be butchering his name, but he was an undefeated guy that was up and coming, and they had a war, and Dominic Brazil showed where he was at, and then that was actually technically supposed to be his second loss or his way down the ladder, but he proved where he was at, and he stayed relevant, You know what I'm saying? So, so him and Dillian White, I think, should really, of course, Dillian White has a better resume, but I think that, Dominic Brazil, you shouldn't sleep on him. He's another tall, big guy. You know what I'm saying? And then, a good reach, tough as hell, and he has power. So, that would be a good fight. I would love to see any fight besides the fights that keep on going on and over again. You know what I mean? Get someone new in there, right? So Dominic Brazil, I think he has a good chance because he has a purpose, because it's personal. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people get driven by, something that someone personally did to them. You know what I'm saying? Look. Take for example, let's go back. Joe Frazier, Muhammad Ali won. Okay, Ali couldn't fight. Joe Frazier was the champion by default. He fought for the belt. He got the belt that they were stripped from Ali. Right? He helped Ali because Ali couldn't fight. Then when the fight was made between Ali and Frazier, Ali said a lot of bad things. Of course, to build the fight. Called him, Uncle Tom. People, the kids. Made fun of his children. His children came home crying, called him ugly, monkey, all this, and that fueled anger. And that, you know what I mean? But that gave motivation to Frazier to fight Ali. And he fought Ali like a mad man. And he beat Ali that first fight. You know what I'm saying? So that shows you a lot of things that could be motivated by anger, and by pissing someone off and pressing their buttons. You know what I mean? But anyway, just giving you a little history lesson on an example on how that could, work in Dominic Brazil's favor because he'll fight with a will that he normally wouldn't fight with. Okay. So anyway, you guys tell me what Dominic Brazil, about what he says, his comments. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been counterpunched. Peace.